There we go. All righty. It is time for me to get comfortable. That's much better. That's much better. Good morning. Good morning. As I joked last night, was it last night? Excuse me. Or yesterday, rather. Good morning, Alexis. Who the frick made my schedule? And not the frick like the museum, okay? Yeah, I'm cracking up because this is what happens when you are the employee and the boss all in one body. It just cracks me up. I know I have some folks here that are early birds that sometimes miss my TikTok lives and YouTube lives because I show up later on the clock than perhaps you can get it. So I decided to show up at 7 a.m. today. So good morning, 7 a.m. people on TikTok. And hey, it may be even earlier where you are, depending upon your time zone. I'm in a time zone. But let's wake up together, shall we? Shall we? Get yourself a bevy, a hot, cold, whatever beverage you like, and good morning. Oh, I should have put on my posture. I got to work on my posture. So good morning to the early birds. Yay, it's not even barely sunshiny out where I am. But I'm glad to be with you for the next hour or so. And yeah, let's do this. So what do I mean by let's do this? Let's wake up gently. Let's not, if you're lucky enough to be able to kind of run a little bit on your own schedule, let's do that. All right. Let's make a plan for the day. If you don't have one already, making a plan for the day. Plan to get some good stuff done. And what I mean by that is plan on having some fun. And because I'm a decluttering life coach, I will encourage you to do even a smidgy widgerson of decluttering today. And that can happen anywhere. That can happen in your home. It can happen in your heart. It can happen in your head. Noticing something you don't care for, either you never did or you did and now you don't, and do something to change it being in your life. Now, if that doesn't sound vague, I don't know what does, but decluttering is a very kind of encompassing kind of thing. So I just offer to you the thought of noticing something that bugs you in your home. Let's even just start small in your home. What's a little area of your home that bugs you? And I'm here to remind you of your power to do something about it. You may not think I can. Oh, I've always been this way. It'll never change. I've tried it before. Trust me, I've heard that. And you know where I've heard that? Is up in my own head. But you know what? If I can figure this out, and here's the deal, I've kind of figured this stuff out, and that's why I show up. You know? Salami mommy, what would you do if when you say okay, so he said yes, you would go? I don't know, figure it out. We are a lot more flexible and resilient than we give ourselves credit for. We can do things that we think are difficult and get onto the other side of it and be like, whoa, check out what I just did. You can do that. If I can do it, you can. There's really nothing particularly different than me. I mean, I've got privileges like everybody's got their own privileges, but I just offer to you decluttering your home. That's why I like to start small. Decluttering your home of objects is a wonderful kind of safe space to practice noticing what you don't like, reminding yourself you can do something about it, and then doing the thing. Like, for example, there may be some stuff in your home that you bought, like you bought for a certain reason in your past, because I know you didn't just buy it right now unless you're at the store at 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. But you bought it, you got it, And now, today, you look at it. Do you feel the same way you did about it when you got it? Is it working out for you? Is it fulfilling the promise you thought it made to yourself? Now, I think of this sometimes with some things that I've bought, like to solve a problem, okay? Like I'm thinking of the kitchen, okay? I am thinking of the kitchen. And I think of things that I have purchased that are supposed to solve a problem, like where's a good place for me to put my blueberries so I don't put them back in the plastic box that already has, dirt in it. And so I see something and I think it might work. Ooh, that's an improvement. And I buy it, I bring it into my home, and I hope that it's going to work out for me. Sometimes these things work out and it's like, yay, add it to the collection. I use it. It helps me. Other times you get it and you realize it isn't working for you. Now, the sooner you realize that something in your home isn't working out the way you hoped, recognize that moment and realize that that's kind of like, I like to use the, let me center myself a little bit more. Behind me here, above my haircut, is a little image of kind of like a road trip, a metaphorical road trip, just a pretend road trip. As soon as you notice something isn't feeling right or working for you, immediately, in my mind, the road that you're on kind of splits off and you've got like a fork in the road. You have the option to continue doing what you're doing, keeping the thing, even though you know it doesn't work. Or you have the option to release that item. Okay? So think about it as a road trip. That point of recognizing, hey, you know what? Every time I try to use this spoon, it bugs me because, and then fill in the blank. It doesn't bring me joy. Not that everything has to bring you joy, but it aggravates me. There's something about it that causes tension. And I don't know about you, but anytime I can reduce tension in my life, I'm going to do it. I am totally going to reduce the tension in my life. And oftentimes, if you get kind of curious about it, items in your home can cause you to feel tense. Do you have something in your home? And I'm not talking about kids or mates or things like that. Let's talk about inanimate objects. Okay, let's start kind of in the safe zone. I know myself that maybe I have a knife that is dull. Maybe I have a bowl that is too shallow. So every time I try to stir something spills over. So noticing even in the small parts of your life where you can make a change to decrease your stress, oh my goodness, why wouldn't you do it? Now I'll give you a reason why you're probably not doing it. This may not be you, but this was me, is you think logically, that doesn't work for me. I don't like that. It doesn't work. That's logic. Logic is part of the equation of getting stuff done, of taking action, but the other one is feeling. So you've got the thoughts in your head, that spoon is okay, even though, or that spoon bugs me because it went down the disposal and it's all rough on the edges. Well, part of me is like, that's fine. It still works as a spoon. But the other part of me is like, no, every time I use it, the texture of it bugs me. Now, this may be an ADHD thing. I don't really care. But if it makes me uncomfortable, if it stresses me out, I can do something about that spoon. Okay? And if I can do something about that spoon, you can do something about that spoon. I know you can. Now, I love it. Linda Archer, good morning. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Organizing the bathroom, kitchen, and pantry this week. Now I'm taking a break. Give me a break. I sure could use it. Yeah, I love that. Organizing and taking a break. We are not machines. We are not, hopefully, we are not robots. The human body needs to rest. The human body takes action and then it depletes its energy and it needs to rest. You and me both. So yay for taking a break. Yay for taking care of your physical body. For noticing even how you feel this morning. How do you feel this morning? This is my thing. Do a scan, like you're in like the TSA thing and you put up your arms and they're going to highlight where your underwire bra is, right? You put up your hands and they go zoom, 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 and it's like, nope, you're good. Well, sometimes if we do that from your crown on down, if you did a scan of your body, how are you feeling? Is everything kind of a nice green, feeling okay? Or are there places where there are some aches and pains? If there are some places that kind of light up red or yellow, like, not so good, let's do something about that. Now, here's a wonderful thing. Linda Archer, I love that you're engaging. I've been feeling overwhelmed before getting each room done, but now I'm starting to feel a relief. And notice that while both of those feelings are temporary, because notice, before getting each room done, you had this overwhelm feeling. But that overwhelm feeling you're not feeling it anymore. And what you're starting to feel is after getting each room done, or even frankly working on a room, even if it's not done, you're noticing there is a sense of relief that you're feeling. Now, I ask you, out of the two feelings, overwhelm or relief, which one would you want? Okay? Now, knowing that overwhelm they're both temporary, but overwhelm, the feeling of being overwhelmed, of feeling overwhelmed, not even being, let's not even embody it. Overwhelm, the feeling of overwhelm is temporary. And it often is, comes along basically when you look at anything too big a picture and it causes you to feel hopeless and helpless. Like, this is so big, what difference could little old me make here? And I talk about this declutter-wise, but also in other areas of your life and where you live. I think all of us would agree that that feeling of overwhelm isn't a really great feeling to feel. Even right now, if I'm talking about overwhelm, I can almost feel it in my body. Yeah, I can almost feel it in my body. And I don't like how it feels in my body. I feel kind of like sick to my stomach, hunched over, discouraged, the weight of the world on my shoulder, like all that kind of blah, overwhelmed, ugh. And it makes me want to just kind of crawl back into bed and get under the covers and scroll on TikTok. However, that's really not going to be a good thing long term. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. I am here to offer you even just the thought. Here, think this. Feeling overwhelmed is only temporary. And if I don't like feeling overwhelmed, there's something I can do about it. Okay? So you can. So many things we have control over. Not everything, but let's control what we can control. And so I like to use this. I keep things so simple, you guys. I don't like to fancy things up if simplicity will do. So what I like to start with is, what's the opposite? So if I'm feeling kind of heavy and hunched over, I will embody the opposite. I will sit up straight. And by doing that, it gives my lungs a chance to expand. So then I will breathe down into my lungs. Maybe if I'm feeling my muscles are all tight, maybe I shake them all up. You know? Shake it up, baby, twist and shout. Shake your body down to the ground. Shake it off. Use all the songs. Put on some music. Loosen up your body. When you do that, you're disrupting the pattern of feeling overwhelmed. And it's like, wait, no, how can I feel overwhelmed if I'm dancing? Okay? So, what I offer to you is this. I love the fact, Linda Archer, that you are taking action. You got out of overwhelm. Overwhelm will shut you down and make you not want to move. But getting moving will be the antidote to the overwhelm. Just starting doing something declutter-wise. And I love it that Linda is seeing relief. I can see the finish line now. Now, Linda, I love that, and the whole like race car flags. I won the race. But that's only half of it. So Linda, I just want you to think about what happens when you get off the racetrack. When you got to, I decreased all of the built up items in my home. Ta-da! Yes, and. Yes, and. In order for clutter to not pile up again in your home, think about the habits that got you cluttered. Notice the actions you take on a daily basis that caused the clutter to pile up. The sooner you recognize those and change them, the least likely you are to have stuff really pile up like it had done. It's going to pile up a little bit. I mean, we live in our houses. But the sooner you recognize it and do something about it, the smaller the piles are. Okay? Now, Jennifer is saying she was agoraphobic for 10 years. Hun, I offer to you, and I say this to everybody. So my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. I am a certified life coach. I know that there are people out there who struggle with agoraphobia, with hoarding, that there is a mental health connection to many people and their struggle with clutter. So I offer to you, if you already know that about yourself, I truly hope for your sake that you are getting help with your mental health, because your physical health and your mental health affect everything. Everything you do is channeled through those two channels. So please get the help that's going to help you the most, okay? Now, Monk is asking a really good question that I'm sure a lot of you probably struggle with, and I have this decluttering project I need to work on myself. Any ideas on what to do with boxes and boxes of old pictures? Now, here's an interesting thing, Monk. I have been coaching for so long, for the last many years, and doing TikTok lives and YouTube lives and reading people's words, because it's the only way we can communicate through these lives, for so long that I can already sense a bit of overwhelm simply by you using boxes and boxes. So notice, everybody, notice where the quantity of items, the number of items, and the way you look at it causes you to feel a bit overwhelmed. Okay? So just notice that. Just notice. And what I will say is the opposite is, so if a whole bunch of things get you overwhelmed, maybe one or two items will get you less overwhelmed and into action. So yeah, so a monk, what I would do, so disclaimer, truth, that closet over there is where I have all of my sentimental photographs. I am of an era and of an age where many of my memories, my photograph memories, are printed out on paper, both of my own history and the history of my family. Now, it's interesting to me because my nieces and nephew can't say the same thing. Their photos are digital mostly. They may have some, but we are of an era of kind of both. We have 1 foot in the paper world and 1 foot in the digital world. So let's talk about boxes and boxes of old pictures. One of the great ways to overcome the overwhelm of what to do with that project, and I will just put my head in that, not literally put my head in that closet, is to not be overwhelmed with all of it and instead start with some of it. Okay, monk? And how we do this is a phrase I like to use because I like to use the word down to help you. So scanning down, calming down, chunking down into categories. Chunk, category. They both begin with C. It's like Sesame Street or Electric Company. Okay? Down, chunk, category. So think about that, monk. Categorizing your photographs means deciding what categories they are. Okay? And I offer to you that there are many ways you can categorize things. It's almost like a pie. I like pies, so I like to think of that like a pie chart. And you can cut it up a bunch of different ways. So over here, for example, mine, I would look at 3 categories. I would look at my personal history, my photos of me, my friends, my high school friends, all my personal decades, the Beth photos. is a category. Then I have two other categories. Well, I have one big category that I'll chunk down into two, which is family photos. So ones that I may be in, but it's more of other people in the family and it tells a family story. Okay? And so I offer to you, family stories can also be chunked down into two. Dad's side of the family, mom's side of the family. So already, instead of looking at all of those photos and being overwhelmed, you can now have divided that big pile into 3 different piles of pictures. Within each one of those piles, I bet you could reduce them further. But I offer to you, prior to doing this, it's probably a good idea to think of, before you even start this project, why are you doing it? Now that can be abstract. So I say, what's your destination? Like, what do I want to do with these photos? Now, sometimes you don't know until you organize them, but having an idea of what you want to do. And for me, mostly, I want to be able to share the images and stories that I know of myself and the generations that came before me. I want to make sure that the stories that I want to, and images that I feel are worth keeping on in my family legacy, are kept and passed on. Okay? Now, I know that sounds very logical, but getting the emotion out of it can help you say, okay, what do I want to do? I want to make sure that if I am in charge of family photos, that the history doesn't die with me. That if I know that that's great Aunt Aga, that I want to make sure my nieces and nephew know that that's great Aunt Aga, and that's all her sisters, and that was your great-great-grandmother. So sharing information, both photographic and the stories I have that those photos trigger. Okay? So that's a way to do it, chunking down the overwhelm. Okay? So think about that to get you started. And I'm doing it myself. All right? Now, the good news is, so I will go deep right now, because I have actually started a file that I hope somebody doesn't have to access, a photo file that somebody does not need to access for the next 40 years. And I have already started a file on my phone with my digital photos, and I'm going to also have that chunk, that category of photos of me, to be photos I want to be shown at the slideshow of my funeral. Photos that I feel like represent the life I lived and how I felt and looked good. I hope nobody has to look at these photos for 40 plus years. However, I am collecting them up and putting them in a safe place now, because you never know what could happen. Tracy's mom says, Tracy's mom has got it going on. I bet you do. I had to throw out all my pictures because they got ruined in my storage from water and rodents. So I offer to you, you may not think you need to deal with these things for years. The sooner you start, the sooner you can, and this is a big part of decluttering, the sooner you can feel safe in your nervous system, that they are going to be able to be around for a while. Okay? So even though you may only be whatever age you are, start sooner rather than later to make sure that that you do the best you can to make sure they're in a safe space. Okay? Now, Erin had this on the calendar, still got distracted. Habits. How long have you been a distracted person? Probably all your life. You and I have known each other, what, couple years maybe? It's all good. I raise my mug to you, my dear. And I raise my mug to you too. SRK. So here's the fun thing about decluttering. People always decluttering gets such a bad rap. Or reputation, bad rap. I'll have to look up the difference between those, but I digress. What I want to offer is, people think decluttering is painful and arduous, and they forget the treasure hunt aspect of it. SRK says, I just found a check for $1,540 in my junk mail from last year. Now, you've got the whole thing, to me, that's like the emoji you want to go is like, yeah, how cool is that? Yay for you going through your junk mail now as opposed to not going through it. And go for it. You know? Yay for you for finding it. We're all about the celebrating the wins, not feeling bad, but feeling good. Feeling 7-Up. Okay? Now this is fun. When you start to feel good, when you notice that decluttering has some good feels associated with it, you're going to want those feels. Anne has been decluttering her home and her mom's stuff and her family stuff, and she's noticing what a good vibe it is to release the things you don't want to anybody who might need it. She says, a nice boy came to repair our internet Tuesday, and I offhandedly offered him our old kitchen table. You know? Yay. And it wasn't a big deal. Notice that, offhandedly. Hey, you want our old kitchen table? Notice how easy that was. I love that. And notice what you did, Anne. Not only did you declutter yourself, all the stuff in our house minus one kitchen table, you also helped somebody else who needed a kitchen table. It is a win for you and a win for them. Yay. Sorry, I didn't mean to clap that loud. It's still pretty early. All righty. And Linda, I love this because I love when the things that work for me or the things that I offer to you as a suggestion seem to be working for you. So Linda is saying, thank you so much for recommending a notebook and writing things. I put my sticky notes into it. Yeah, put your sticky notes into the notebook. The reason I suggest a notebook of a decent size and of a ring-bound thing is not because I'm, endorsed by Staples. It's because it is a big place that you can get into the habit of going here to look for the things that you have to do. Writing them down gets them out of your head, and it makes it easier to remember when you can just read it as opposed to going to try to find whatever that thing was in the really cluttered filing system of your head. Okay, so SRK, I love that my offering of the help for the photos, and I love the fact that your mom wants your help. That is so helpful. But yeah, notice the chunking down. Also, please, SRK, and this may be a thing, let's channel the technology we have available now. One of the things I would do differently that I wish I had the technology to do when I was going through family photos and family history is I would record it, and I'll tell you why. I would record it, not necessarily for the video, because people may be like, no, don't keep a video, I look old and whatever. I would record it for the words so that I could have their words 100%, not just me writing it down. Writing it down is always better than just trying to keep it up in your head. Writing it down is better than that, but recording it and then throwing it into one of those programs that can just translate the words into like the captions. So you have their direct words so you don't miss something. So when you're going through those photos with your mom, ask questions, record the session, even if the videotape is not necessarily going to be the end all. It could be. You might want to have that when you and your mom are going through and you ask the questions, and you might want to keep that as a memento for yourself, or it could just be source material to more easily get the family, the stories that they remember. Also, sometimes you would also get the things where you need to follow up with somebody else because I'm not sure. Was that Bobby's son or was that Danny's son? I don't remember. You can make a note. Okay, note to self. Find out who that was. Alrighty, Cynthia C., good morning. Laura Gibbon Voorhees, yay. Laura is noticing how good it feels to look at a simplified spot in her house. Yay. Let's all do things to make ourselves feel good. Remind yourself you can do it. Okay? Yep. Now, SRK, I love that you tried to deposit the check you found. I love also, I'm so proud of you for not giving up. Wah, wah. No, I have to call into the company. I will tell you, this happened with a a person who follows me here in the socials, who's also part of the Destination Decluttered email group. And also, this happened on one of the declutter parties that we have. She found a check, and she was feeling ashamed that it had gotten lost in the shuffle. And I said, we do not do shame here. We do not do embarrassment, judgment. No. What I said, yay for finding it, and call up the company to see if they can issue a new one. They did it like in a heartbeat. Okay, there we go. Palmyra, I'm glad you're there practicing your listening English. Thank you for the recommendations. Now that's interesting because I don't know if people who aren't in English-speaking countries struggle with stuff and clutter like we here in the United States do, but I'm glad to help you with that anyway. All right, Bobby Dugas, good morning. Ellie, Starla. Alrighty, so it's about 7:31 in the morning where I am. I'm in the eastern part of the United States, Pennsylvania, and it may be a different time zone where you are. But regardless, we're all here, at least temporarily, on TikTok. So hey, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called the Destination Decluttered. If you notice behind me on the wall, there's kind of like a picture of like a road trip, okay? And I really found it life-changing, frankly, to think of my life more as a road trip, and that really put things into perspective. So I thought about that after struggling for years with clutter in my life and all that, and it changed the way I thought about things. So it changed the way I felt about things. And when I thought differently and felt differently, I did different things. Okay? Yeah. Okay, Linda Archer says, I'm finding decluttering cluttering. The house is helping me declutter my mind. Yes, and decluttering is yes and. I like using that. It's kind of like what is that? When you do improv comedy, yes and. I'm a yes and kind of gal. So decluttering your home of the items engages your brain, your head, in asking the musical question, what do I want? Do I want this item or not? And asking yourself that question with the same lack of judgment, lightness, curiosity, and love, where I just said that. Not like, do I want this or not? That kind of tension can shut things down. So let's be light. Let's be curious. Let's not give ourselves a hard and fast deadline unless you need to. If you got to move out of your house, it's a bit of a chop. However, if we are starting sooner rather than later, getting comfortable, asking yourself, what do I want? Now, I know I've shown this before on TikTok Lives and YouTube Lives, and there are I'm going to check now. Just as a heads up, I'm going to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel on this other screen here. We have a YouTube Live, just like a TikTok Live, except it's on my computer versus my phone. It's on a different channel for those of us who used to watch TV on channels, right? It's on like channel 56 versus channel 38. If you know, you know. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm just looking right now. Every TikTok Live and YouTube Live that I do is recorded and added to a library. So you can go listen to one for free, like a podcast, and learn what other people struggle with clutter-wise that you may struggle with as well. And the reason I mention that is because I've got 843 videos there, and Destination Decluttered on YouTube is where I'm going to show up in like 25 minutes. So if you want to hang out, okay. Kate got the Channel 38 reference. Over here, hanging up just outside of your reach, I have the question, what do I want from 2025? Also in 2024, I asked the question and I put what do I want? I asked myself that question in 2024. January of 23, I called it, what do I want to happen? but then I tidied it up. So I offer you this really short but simple question that I ask myself. Here. Boop. My Pee-wee is falling off of the shelf.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Cereal.
Sorry, he's hanging over me right next to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So I offer this to you. Here. Write it down on a Post-it. Put today's date. Okay? And yeah, Melissa, that's a Pee Wee Herman lunchbox. What do I want? Emphasis on I. Now, this is not a greedy, selfish question. It may be feeling kind of odd to ask yourself what you want because you're not used to it, because you're always, you are accustomed to figuring out what everybody else wants. I like to bring it back home because finding out what you want is reconnecting with yourself, and that can help you make decisions. Okay? So, what do I want? Do I want to keep that Pee Wee Herman lunchbox from 1988? Yes. Yes, I do. Awesome. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to find a place of pride for it. And every time I see it, I'm going to have a smile on my face. There are many other things that I've come across when I've gone through the stuff in my house where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want that anymore. And that's okay. And if I don't want it anymore, notice where my hand went. It kind of went, okay, how can I easily remove it from my home? And even if you don't know how, even telling yourself as opposed to a question, you can say to yourself the statement, if I decide that I don't want something in my home, I can easily let it go. How powerful does that sound? If I decide I don't want that thing anymore, I can easily let it go. Easily. I love that word. I'm all about easy. Okay? What do I want? And when I decide it, I can easily make that thing happen. Write those two things down, and even if those two sentences swim around in your brain, the pool of your brain today, that's my job as well done. Because those two statements will revolutionize your life. All right? So I offer them to you. Here, it's like I wrote it on a Post-it, and it's on a tray, and you can choose to keep it, or you can be like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Now, Linda, I love it. Now, Linda's playing along at home. She's got the home version of this game, right? So Linda says, I wrote the sentences down and answered them. I want freedom and, you've got two of mine. Do I have freedom written down on mine? I already feel free. Peace of mind. And not peace like a pie, but peace like peace, love, and understanding. Here's an interesting thing, Linda Archer, because peace of mind is like one of the number one things, if not the number one thing on my list too. I have a whole list. Abundance, generosity, flexibility, peace of mind, leisure, all sorts of words that I have written right below that, okay? What I want to offer to you and to everybody, think about this, because I think about this, so I've already done this. Notice how peace of mind, we tend to think our mind is up here, but peace of mind is a feeling that can affect your whole body. And peace of mind, how does that feel? Pretend even right now, even if you don't have peace of mind now, let's pretend all of those things that are not giving you peace, you've turned the volume down. You've quieted them down. They're just in the back, way over there, black and white, small, over there. And right here, you're trying on the feeling of peace of mind. Where do you feel it in your body? Now, I woke up with a headache, I'm not going to lie. I had to take a pill, a prescription pill for my migraines. But even when I say peace of mind, I feel a relaxation in the temples of my head. My torso, my body, where my lungs and my heart are. I can breathe more deeply. I can exhale more slowly. I feel my shoulders going by. Notice even when I talk about peace of mind, my voice is softening. My voice is quieting down. Relief, yeah. So notice that this feeling right here, people, is what we're going for when we declutter. And I want to just play around with this concept because I love doing this. This is my happy place. This is the sandbox that cats have not pooped into, okay? This is the sandbox in which we're playing. It's a poop-free zone. And thinking about peace of mind. Peace of mind. Your mind, your brain, your head is up here and your thinking brain here. I think your mind is a combination of your thinker and your feeler, of your head and your heart, of above the neck and below the neck, is when those two parts of you that are separated by just a few inches, when those two are dancing well together, that feels wonderful. And we know this because oftentimes when we are feeling tension or not peace of mind, it's because there is kind of an argument, a struggle between your head and your heart. You don't have peace of mind if there is a dissonance, if there's a struggle, a push me, pull you, a kind of, tug of war between your head and your heart. Now, tug of war is usually this way, but even for now, between your head and your heart. So think about that. The absence of that stress is peace of mind. So if we know that, then let's notice where there is, who's pulling, what's saying one thing and what's saying another. Now, usually, I will offer this. This is how I like to think of it, is the two people that are playing tug of war in me. This is the framework that helped me, so I share it with you. I imagine myself in the driver's seat of my car, any car. I'm always the driver. You are always the driver. Imagine yourself there in the driver's seat, and you've got the steering wheel in front of you, gas pedals, windshield, the whole bit. This is your life. You think you're in the car alone, doing your things, but you really are totally affected by two passengers in your car, okay? These are the passengers that cause the tension if there's the tug of war, okay? Right, two people tug of war, coolie girl, okay, cool girl, okay? Here's how I look at it. Maybe this will help you. I look at it as, and because we're in the car, we've got your backseat driver is in the back seat, and you've got your co-pilot, the person in the passenger seat next to you. Now think about even the dynamic of that. We know that common phrase, the backseat driver. What does that mean? It's somebody that's telling you to do something the way they want you to do it. Don't drive the way you're currently driving. Drive the way I want you to. Now I use a combination. I think of this when I'm in a irritated version. I think of, this is going to be a pop culture reference from back in the day. I think of the Flintstones, okay? And for some reason, a backseat driver reminds me of Wilma Flintstone's mom, Mrs. whatever Wilma's maiden name was. And she's crabbing at Fred for doing something wrong. I don't know. And maybe Fred's doing something wrong. I mean, it was the Flintstones after all. But it's somebody who's saying, don't do it the way you're doing it. Do it the way I want you to. Now, my more loving me now sees that really more as, so I want to offer this to you. That little backseat driver is really, if you turn around and actually look at it, is a scared little kid strapped in a car seat. Okay? So here's a fun thing. Linda Archer is saying, I think it's my husband as the backseat driver. And I will totally out myself as a wife who is a literal backseat. Well, not literal. I tend to be in the car next to my husband. I have to mind myself to not be a backseat driver in real life. I totally am, okay? But here's the thing. If you imagine your husband, or I'll imagine myself as the backseat driver when my husband's driving, and I'm like, don't do that. Watch out for this. Go fast. That's what I would do. What I have there is it's a scared little kid in the back seat, afraid that what you're going to do is going to cause harm. Okay? Now, this is pretty deep for 7:46 in the morning, but I figured I'd give you some things to play about, okay? So scared little kid in the back seat, afraid, fear, but right next to you, just like a road trip, you have part of you who is love, who is your best friend on a road trip. You're like, dude, where do you want to go? I can help you get there. I got the map. I got the snacks. We get the tunes. I can help you get there. It's going to be fun. You also have that voice inside you. So if you're feeling tension, just notice that it's because part of you wants something and part of you doesn't want something. And I offer to you right now, the person who is encouraging you to hang on to what you don't want is winning if you're still keeping that stuff. Okay? I like that reference because I live in an automobile society, but it also reminds me that there is that other part of me who is struggling to say, let go of the stuff that doesn't bug you. Or excuse me, let go of the stuff that bugs you. Because then if you do, you won't be bugged anymore. Now this is fun. Daniela says, I'm the driver if we're going somewhere. Right. And you know when you're going somewhere, you have a destination to get to. You know? So I want to offer that kind of concept. When you get into your car today, regardless of whoever humans is in there with you, note that you're never in the car alone. Look over at from the driver's seat. Look over there. Pretend there's a scared little kid in the back seat. That's that voice in your head that's saying, hang on to that even if you don't want it anymore. But then also, introduce yourself. Wave hi to your co-pilot. Hey you, where are we going? Let's go. I can help you. Yes. And the more you can have fun with this car destination thingy that has really helped me. Here's a question that I say, I'm in a scenario in my life. What would I do if I was in my car? Elle is saying GPS rerouting. If you backslide into clutter, it's just a reroute. The destination hasn't changed, right? GPS, destination decluttered, you put that in your GPS, it connects you from where you are to where you want to go, and it creates a route. Now you have the ability to follow that route, and it's usually the most direct route, but often you can veer off either intentionally or unintentionally. Now, the cool thing is, because you have it in your GPS, if you remember that it's in your GPS, you can always then reconnect with your, GPSer and see, oh, I got off track, but I can still get back on track. All right? And we like to make it fun here, too, because why not? There's enough unfun things in the world. If you can make something that you think you don't want to do into something more fun, you're going to be more likely to do it. Excuse me. Laura Gimmon Voorhees says, speaking of tunes, of which I speak of a lot, the other morning I put on some of my favorite songs and danced whilst I tidied. And I love your use of whilst, okay? Have fun. Notice that if you haven't been having fun doing decluttering, that's probably one of the reasons why you're thinking it ain't fun. So how can you introduce some fun? It's just like being in your car. I'm in my car and I'm going and it's fun. Clean the windshield. Put on your sunglasses. Turn up the tunes. Turn up the fun. Have some fun while you're getting it done. She says all marketing-y, Have some fun. Why the hell not? There's so many unfun things in the world, and fun and having fun is a power. It can give you energy and strength and confidence. Think about that. Dancing around while you're doing your decluttering moves your body, gets your blood flowing, gets your muscles flexible. It lightens your joy. Like it lightens your spirit. Have fun. Get it done and have fun. That's how I do it. Really quickly, I just noticed it's 7:50 a.m. Yeah, it's 7:50 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. Right now, I'm live on TikTok. In about 10 minutes, I will be on Destination Decluttered on YouTube. I'm actually going to start the live right there. I'm just going to get it prepped right now. So if you want to hang out and continue to listen to me, maybe as you're getting ready for the morning, or maybe you're just having your morning routine and you want to listen to it like a podcast, I will say this. You don't really need to look at the screen while I'm here. You can just turn up the volume, put it down, and you can putter and declutter. You can do the dishes, fold laundry, whatever, while I'm here keeping you company. Okay? So today is September 25th, 9/25/25. I'm going to do an 8 a.m. It is early, huh? 8 a.m. Eastern. YouTube live on YouTube. I'm going to add it to the Destination Decluttered playlist for September. And you're all invited to come over. Just change the channel. It's like if you have a TV show that you like a wicked lot and you want to see another episode of it, you just change the channel. And the cool thing about that is that that's also where all these Destination Decluttered videos are that you can also watch on your own or listen to, that type of thing. The other thing too is, really quickly, because this is going to start tomorrow, is my lives are scheduled, but the schedule is different every day, because I'm different every day, as I'm sure you are too. If you want to know the schedule, the only thing you need to do to get the schedule is to join the Destination Decluttered email group. Go to destinationdecluttered.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, put your email address in, hit join. It's really low key, you guys. It's not a hard sell thing. It's not, you don't pay for it or whatever. But what it does is that sends you an automatic email with a link to the secret page that has the schedule on it. I keep it secret because I want to keep the trolls out of our the turds out of our sandbox, as it were. So that's why I do that. When you're part of that group, you also get access to these declutter parties that I mentioned, habit tracker, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds like anything you're interested in, and you just happened to come across me today on TikTok, destinationdecluttered.com, sign up for the email group, okay? But right now, we've got, about 7 minutes left. So let's have some fun while we have getting some stuff done, all right? So what do we got? Yeah. Keep the turds out of your sandbox. Yes, Anne. I'm telling you, some of these quotes I have, I hope nobody embroiders it onto a pillow and puts it on their couch. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Now, interesting. Oh, I'm using the wrong thing here. So here, I'm going to back up a little bit. Turn up the tunes in the car. Time for Halloween music. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Yeah. Mix up your tunes depending upon the season. Why not? Now, Kate is excited about decluttering. I'm excited that my hubby will be working on Saturday so I can be playing the tunes and decluttering the office. Yeah, sometimes it helps when some people are around to help, but sometimes people's presence isn't a help, so it can be easier when they're not around. Now, interesting, Cool Girlie says the music used to help so much, just not anymore. The mental difficulty and devil keep it monster. Oh, interesting, your words. Difficulty, devil, monster. Cool Girlie, what I will offer to you this, okay? 3 layers of clutter. Surface, stored, sentimental. I'll repeat that. Surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter. Okay? For me, and so maybe for you, I don't mind. I could enjoy listening to music when I am decluttering the surface. And the reason I can do that is because I don't need to listen to my brain. I just am kind of on autopilot. I'm doing the dishes, I'm sweeping up, I'm doing the laundry, I'm putting away things that weren't away. That is where I would listen to music. As soon as I go down to the next level, which is the true decluttering, which is the decision making, I need to turn down the music. Because what I need to do is turn down the music and turn up the volume on what my head and my heart are saying about the items. Okay? So what I offer to you, cool girl, is you may not be alone in that, but what I offer to you is don't look at it as the difficult devil monster. Look at it as your own brain and your own heart. It's just you, my dear. And so you can look at it like just a conversation between the front seat and the back seat. It's not we're all so much afraid of the devil and the monster in the back seat. It's really just a scared little kid, even though if they don't think they're scared, they think they're brave and mean and strong. But you know what they are? They've got little hands and orange skin, and they're just a little kid who's afraid that if somebody else gets something that they don't have it, and they want it all. Okay? So it's not a monster, it's not a devil. You look over, and it's just a little kid stuck in a car seat wearing a blue suit and a red tie. Okay? Do not be afraid of that. Okay? So Whitney is saying, I have a compulsion. I would tone that down, unless you're truly compulsive, because that can be an indicator of mental health stuff. Whitney, what I would do is I would tone that down and say, I have a habit. I have a habit of collecting beautiful rocks. Okay, nothing wrong with that. As you can see, I collect things that I believe are beautiful. I can't part with them. Well, that's a thought. Technically you could, but right now you feel like you can't. So interesting. But I live in an apartment. Okay, so notice the size of your living space will dictate how much stuff you can comfortably keep. All right? So I offer this to everybody. Limited space, right? See, and I know I should pick my favorites, but what if I love them all? So I say this, Whitney, just check. Do I really love them all? And here's the thing, I'm not particularly woo-woo about a lot of things, but I bet you have some of those rocks that you like better than others. That really, when it almost like emits a color, like let's say you're on Land of the Lost and you're with those little things. You may be too young for this, but some rocks emit a green light that you really love. But some of them, even though you thought you loved it, are really just yellow. If you love them all, then maybe what you do is find a place, a way of displaying them so you can see something you love and you feel good about. But then, because you're running out of space, you say to yourself, I need to slow down the amount of rocks I bring in. But I say before you do that, Whitney, practice the art and science of decluttering, which is checking in with the stuff you've collected from the past and seeing if that stuff still emits that same color for you that it did when you got it. If it does, cool. Then find a way to honor those things and put them in a place where you can see them and you feel that energy whenever you look at them. But also, if some of those things have faded to yellow, that's also totally okay. The ones that are faded to yellow, maybe you go and you put them back where rocks are so somebody else can find them. Maybe you really notice before the next time you pick up a rock, is this a strong green vibration of I love this? Or is it, hey, that's kind of cool. That looks like a heart. Nothing wrong with any of this, you guys. Okay? Alrighty, Anne collects the rocks. She's got cubbies, much like these things behind me. Okay, and Kiki. Hey, Kiki. Now, alrighty, there you go. SRK, love it. Special rocks. You rotate the collection. Okay, so Kiki, what I want to offer to you is this. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to shift gears and go over to the Destination Decluttered YouTube Live. But what I'll say is my house has turned into a disaster and getting paralyzed when trying to start cleaning. I never had the problem. cleaning up before. I don't know why it's such a challenge for me now. It could be the quantity of items, and also sometimes our nervous systems change as we age, okay? If you want to talk about it more, just hop over and ask that question again in the chat on the Destination Decluttered YouTube, okay? As a reminder, Beth, Destination Decluttered YouTube, Decluttering Life Coach. I will not be on TikTok and YouTube for the next couple of days, so this next YouTube is the last one for a few days. If you want to get the schedule between now and October 18th, destinationdecluttered.com/join. Join the list. And let me see if I can start the thing. Here, I'll see if I can do this. I'm taking the thumbnail, and then I'm going live. So now I'm live on TikTok, but now I'm even on YouTube as well. So feel free, follow along. This is fun. Everybody have an awesome weekend. Bye.